Okay, welcome to today's talk. We're going to be talking about shorting, and in particular, shorting cryptocurrencies, and in particular, shorting cryptocurrencies that I think are worth shorting. Yeah, because I don't think it's really a great idea to short or long cryptocurrencies unless you have a pretty clear idea of when and why and how to do it. So we'll go over those basics. And the important thing to note here is I don't short very often. It's something that I had to learn how to do on my own. There's endless documentation and information about trading and, what works and what doesn't, and what, patterns to look for and what you want to trade based off of, what indicators, all of these things. They're freely available on the internet. And sometimes you got to pay, but most of the times they're free. And you can go read all this stuff. That doesn't make you a good trader. There's no clear path to becoming a good trader or investor other than, like most things in life, like practice, trial and error. So it's important to remember that when you're using these strategies, or at least learning the fundamentals of them, that's where I kind of see my role in this. Because a lot of people I see on crypto Twitter who unfortunately have started groups with the express purpose of just like saying, hey, I have all the best pattern analysis. I'm going to make you a bunch of money. Only pay attention to what my charts say, and I'm going to give you the best stuff. Those people are probably not doing so well right now, both financially and just in terms of reputation. Like, you kind of look like an idiot, which is why here, when things go down, like, no one's happy, but we know that we've been investing in this stuff for a reason, and sunny short-term volatility is maybe uncomfortable, but not the end of the world, and certainly not why you signed up for this. You came to learn about certain basic things, the fundamentals, and then, a community that can help support that and back it up. And I'm talking to the Discord people here for people who are watching on YouTube. So that's important to remember. Like, I learned how to short because everything was going down and I didn't like to continue to lose money. And also I started trying to put my money where my mouth is when I could. And in particular, I'll talk about how I did that with EOS. But anyway, I've gotten off track. What we're going to be talking about today is primarily BitMEX. And in a previous video, I said I do not use BitMEX. And for the most part, I don't, because I consider it gambling. That said, if the general market and Bitcoin is going down, you better believe most other cryptocurrencies will be going down as well, usually to an order or magnitude that is greater than the rate of which Bitcoin will go down, which presents some interesting opportunities, especially if you know about the fundamentals of coins you might be shorting. Just to back up for a second, when I'm saying shorting, it's essentially a wager or an investment that the price of what you are saying will go down. So it's the opposite of if something is going up. So you invest on BitMEX with synthetic US dollars called XBT. And you can go read about all of this stuff, but you open up contracts on futures or live price action. So this basically says whatever the price is now, this is the price, how much you will gain. You can use leverage, like I've mentioned before in the previous video, to increase your potential earnings or get liquidated very quickly, depending on how you use it. But you can place wagers on price action relative to certain things, futures contracts as well. So where this comes in handy is if I know there's a steaming hunk of garbage out there, just like a not good project. And like, clearly we can all probably, if you've been in crypto for a little bit, even since last year, 2017 alone, I'm sure you've come across some garbage projects. Now, you unfortunately can't short everything as far as I know. That would be amazing if you could just short like very bad stuff. But there are projects that are, worth several $1 billion that you can actively short. So where this comes in handy is if you feel that you have an analysis or a view on something that's a little bit before everyone else is kind of caught on, you have an opportunity to maybe put your money where your mouth is. So two areas where this is particularly useful is two projects that I don't put my money in because I don't trust them as projects, and they're the antithesis of what I like to look for in cryptocurrency or blockchain projects, would be Bitcoin Cash and EOS. I think they're terrible projects for different reasons, some similar reasons, but for the most part, just objectively terrible projects. So what I look for is a very quick rise in price action for either of those, because not everyone has realized these are terrible projects. I have very smart people who I respect in many ways who really like EOS. It's one of their favorite projects, and I disagree with them. We can still be friends, luckily. But I just disagree. There's a lot of reasons, and I'll do an EOS talk, and I don't need to do a Bitcoin Cash one, but luckily I don't know many people who like Bitcoin Cash. But this is an opportunity for me to say, all right, I think this is a project. I see people still believe in this, but I think this is something that's not going to be good. So what I'm going to go do is go on to BitMEX or another place where I can trade price action, futures, and basically say, all right, I'm putting in a short contract. I'm going to put in $100, synthetic US dollars, XBT, at regular, no leverage, just a regular old, whatever goes up, that's what I get, whatever goes down. You can use leverage if you want, but get familiar with it because you can get liquidated. It's margin trading. Don't recommend it. So you can go and basically place a wager or an investment if you want. I consider this more like it's closer to gambling because we're not really privy to all of the facts that make price go up and down, which is why if you use high leverage, it's very risky because even if something is a steaming hunk of garbage, someone can buy a bunch of it. There's no rule that says, no, you can't buy this. So that's important to remember. So don't get carried away. It's not like, oh my God, EOS is the worst thing ever. I'm going to short the shit out of it always and I'm going to make so much money. Sometimes that works. If you've been shorting Bitcoin since the last kind of poke up and touch around 10,000, you're feeling pretty good right now if you have that open. So, and that's where it gets to me now. You may feel dirty shorting Bitcoin, and I don't do it, just to be clear. I feel that's like such a hallmark of gambling because it's so hard to know why the price is moving up or down in any direction. So it's just really risky. And just to be clear on BitMEX, your orders are hanging open. They're there for everyone to see, meaning that if someone wants to go and stop you out for whatever reason, take that hit short term, no market maker, no fees, done. That can be done. So it's very important to remember that people are aware of this. This is where you'll see the meme of the BART pattern where something goes up really high, kind of consolidates for a little bit, and then goes down really hard. That could be stop shorting. People setting up positions that can then be stopped out by various entities in the space. And all of this is something to consider, especially on BitMEX, but other places you'd be trading as well. So still, and you have to be aware of this, it's just like if something is going up, you want to take your profits when appropriate, and you want to find spaces and places where it's appropriate to start shorting something. So a very quick rise up. Bitcoin would have been one of them, a sharp rise up in 2017, late 2017. EOS earlier this year gained on Bitcoin and in price dramatically. Those would have been good opportunities to potentially looking at shorting. Now on BitMEX, you can use what's known as a demo account, and you actually don't have to trade any real money. So you can just get the handle on it and see if you know what you're talking about. I definitely recommend that for anyone, especially if you're US based, because you can use BitMEX, only the demo account if you're on US. So if one were to use something else like a virtual private network, one could theoretically sign up somewhere else for BitMEX and use it that way. And BitMEX, just to be clear, you cash in and out with Bitcoin only, so there's no dollars. So that's, or pounds or whatever else you're using, euros. So yeah, that's what shorting is. Personally, if you're wondering what I like to short, and I'm not great at it, I'm probably just as bad / good, and I lead with bad there for a reason, at trading and actively trading, shorting as I am longing. Now, if it's a clear, precipitous drop, it's the same as a bull market. You can just kind of bank on things going down. That's what's interesting about the market that most people fail to realize. You want things to appreciate in value, but you can also make counter bets. You become a bear, so to speak. So there are lots of different ways of looking at this. It's not a magic bullet. It's not like you just become short all of a sudden and then you just are the richest person ever. There's certainly hedging involved if you want to be risk management about it, and risk reward is really a point. And again, knowing that this could be highly manipulated in very quick ways if you're shorts, and especially if you're using high leverage for some of these things, are all caveats with all this. But again, like if I maintain an overall short position with EOS, just overall, not a big one, and I think this project is eventually on its way to zero, and it doesn't shoot up in an insane amount over that time frame, there's no harm in leaving a short like that open. So you just want to pick and choose where you can do that. Take your profits just like you would if things were going up. You're still profits. And from there, that's kind of it. Again, I'm not an expert on this. It's just something that you can do. Most people maybe would overlook that you could do something like this. You certainly can't do it on Binance. The equivalent would be maybe tethering. You tether your dollars into something, and then you can maybe buy more of that, whether it's VeChain or Bitcoin, because now your dollar is stronger overall. So that's like kind of another way of shorting something, but it's not truly shorting in the sense that you've opened up a contract that says, hey, I think this is going to go down. And when I close this or take profits from it, it'll be lower than where I initially opened it. So that's all that shorting is. I can do a video on BitMEX really quickly, I think. No, I actually can't. I'll have that set up for next time. But we can also do some live streams, and I'll do that for the people on the Discord when I can. But that is all for the talk on shorting. And yeah, I think EOS is garbage. There, I said it. Stop streaming.